Hey everybody, David. Discussion 5. This week we're talking about persuasive arguments and different ways that you can use in communication to help persuade, provide clarity in communication, and so on and so on. And you're presented here in chapter 12 a model. I love models, by the way, because models, if they're simple enough, can be something that you can latch onto and they're repeatable over a period of time. And so anything that you can make part of your repertoire, if you will, I think would be very helpful. So the AIDA, or AIDA model, is one that can help you by going through the 4 different phases represented by the AIDA portion of that. Okay, so the first one that's talked about here is attention, and big part of communication is finding something that can attract the attention very early on, and whether again that's written communication or verbal communication. If you don't, if you aren't able to latch on with your audience right at the start, chances are you're not going to get it in the middle. They're not just going to wake up halfway through it and go, "Okay, I get it now." Which is why I think I mentioned this before. Which is why in professional writing that I teach in the graduate program, um, I always talk about in the introduction of your paper or your presentation, you need to have a hook. And a hook is simply that thing that causes somebody to look at it or hear it and say, wow, that's meaningful. I need to listen, or I need to look a little bit further. I need to read further into that. Now, statistics have a good way of doing that. Because sometimes you can put something out that is just kind of mind blowing. It has to be true, obviously. I mean, I'm not saying make something up, but something that would cause somebody to really be hooked into your idea and grab onto it. That's why it's also important to, in the second part of this, so the A, attention, the second one is interest. You have to provide some level of detail that's going to cause people to want to walk down this pathway with you, right? And so that's why I encourage people to be very clear in stating the purpose of the communication, purpose of the presentation, so that the reader has a clear understanding of where you're going to be taking them. And so if you've grabbed their attention and you've established interest for them to be able to walk a little bit further, then that's kind of the easy part. The hard part begins now. You got to create desire, which is the D portion of this. Um, Help your audience understand that the things that you're going to be talking about throughout this paper, throughout this presentation, if it's a verbal presentation, is going to be meaningful to them. How can it impact them? How can it benefit them going forward? Because, if you don't do that, then you're going to get maybe a surface level of understanding or a surface level of response from people because it's like, oh, that's nice information, but it doesn't affect me, so therefore, I'm not going to apply it very much. Okay, so we've got the A, the I, the D, the attention, interest, desire, and then finally action. And what I found in professional writing too often, what we do is we identify a problem, we provide potential solutions, but we forget or we neglect to tell people how to implement those solutions, how to put action behind them so that they can actually be successful going forward. And so the action component of this, attention, interest, desire, action, is very important, or you've just wasted their time with information. Maybe they come out of that and say, yeah, that was really, really good, but they just put your presentation on a shelf and they don't implement it. To me, too often, presentations, again, verbal or written, just serve as information transfer, and there's really nothing at the end that would cause you to want to go out and do anything about this. So that's the overall definition of the AIDA model. I ask why models are important. The reason I like them is because they're repeatable. It's something that if you get a good handle on it and say, okay, I got a presentation coming up, I need to focus on Ada. I need to grab their attention. I need to make sure that I develop and cultivate interest. I need to create this desire behind my solutions. And then I need to go out and tell them how to implement everything that I've talked about. If you have that and it's repeatable, then perhaps it's something that'll be beneficial for you going forward. Okay. I look forward to hearing and seeing your comments this week. Take care.